"Hi, my name is Sydney. If you're so smart, then pay your own bills." My mom's voice was sharp, like broken glass in our small apartment. I was still in my dirty work clothes, my feet hurt from working extra hours. She pushed a pile of bills that were past due into my hands, as if it was my fault. She didn't ask about my day or if I had eaten. She just stood there, her eyes angry, making me feel like I was the reason her life was hard. "I already paid the last two," I mumbled, looking at the red, past-due notices. She scoffed, "Then pay the rest, if you're so smart, so grown up." She got close to my face and almost spit the words, "Prove it, pay your own bills." Something inside me finally broke. For many years, I worked, studied, and gave her my money while she acted like a victim. That night, I stopped feeling bad and started feeling mad. I didn't fight back or cry. I just walked to my room, grabbed my backpack, and put in clothes, my computer, and a picture of my dad and me. My hands shook, but my mind was clear. She followed me, asking, "Where are you going?" I told her, "You said to pay my own bills, so I'm going to live my own life." I left that night and never looked back. A month later, her name showed up on my phone. I thought about it, then answered. "Sarah," she yelled, out of breath and scared. "Why is the power off? What did you do?" I took a slow breath, feeling strong because of everything I had planned since I left. My answer made her stop talking, and it was just the beginning. If anyone ever told you that you owe your family everything, stick around. You'll see what happened when I made my mom pay her own bills, both money-wise and feeling-wise. To understand why that phone call felt so good, you need to know what happened before. My name is Sarah, and I am 22. For as long as I can remember, not having enough money always caused problems at home. When my dad left years ago, he didn't just leave my mom, he left me too. All he left was an old photo, a pile of bills, and a mom who slowly turned her sadness into anger. My mom, Cynthia, used to be kind and funny. After my dad left, she became hard. Every bill that wasn't paid, every broken thing, every job interview that didn't work out somehow became my fault. When I got my first job at 16, she took my debit card to keep it safe. She would say, "We're a team," as she used my money for rent, cigarettes, and cheap wine. By the time I started college, we really meant me. She stopped trying to find a steady job and started to use my school money, my student loans, and my small jobs to get by. If I ever complained, she would get mad. "Do you want us to be homeless? Your father didn't care about us, at least I stayed." So I stayed too. I worked late, studied late, and gave her all the money I made. Anytime I tried to set a rule, she would twist my words. "You think you're better than me because you went to college." My good things somehow made her feel bad. The night she told me to pay your own bills, it wasn't just about the power or the rent. It was about all the years she treated me like a money machine, without caring about my feelings. That night, I stayed at my friend Lily's house. Lily was the only one who saw how bad things were from the outside. We sat in her dark living room with light from the street lamp coming through the window as I thought about our fight. "You finally left," Lily whispered. "You should have done it years ago." "I know," I said, looking at my phone, waiting for many texts that never came. "But she still has my name on everything. The apartment lease, the power bills, the internet. If she stops paying, they'll come after me." Lily looked worried. "Can't you just take your name off?" That simple question made me think. I had spent years fixing her problems, paying her debts, and keeping her safe from trouble. For the first time, I wondered what would happen if I stopped. A few days later, I went back to my old apartment to get the rest of my things when she was out. That's when I saw it. A thick envelope on the table with my name on it, not hers. It said, "Final notice." I opened it, and my stomach dropped. It wasn't just the power bill. It was a credit card I never opened. Thousands of dollars of debt in my name. I stood alone in that quiet, stuffy apartment, looking at the proof that this wasn't just a mom who needed help from her daughter. This was a lie. And at that moment, my idea of getting back at her quietly became a real plan. I took the envelope and a few others I hadn't seen before and ran back to Lily's place, my heart beating very fast. We spread the letters on her coffee table like pictures from a crime scene. There it was again and again. My name, my social security number, my good credit score being ruined by charges I didn't make. Clothes stores I never went to, late-night food from places far away, cash loans. "She opened credit cards in your name?" Lily asked, her eyes wide. "Sarah, this is stealing someone's identity. This is against the law." "She's my mom," I whispered. But even as I said it, the words felt weak. I remembered all the times she waved away letters saying, "Just junk mail." All the times she made me sign papers without letting me read them. All the times she snapped, "You don't trust me," if I asked too many questions. I trusted her because she was my mother. I just never knew she would give up my future to make her life easy now. Lily put her hand on my arm. "You can't keep covering for her. She's not just using your money anymore. She's using your name." That night, while Lily slept, I sat alone with my computer, the letters, and a notebook. I looked at my credit report for the first time. Each line felt like a punch. Power accounts in my name, credit cards, a small loan I never asked for. I started writing everything down, account numbers, dates, how much was owed. Every time I remembered her saying, "Sign here," or "I'll take care of it." I took pictures of text messages where she made me feel bad to send more money. I recorded many voicemails of her yelling, demanding, and blaming me. It felt wrong at first, like I was being mean to her. Then I remembered the stack of red notices and how she had yelled, "If you're so smart, then pay your own bills." The way she never said sorry for making her problems my problems. The next day, Lily took me to a place where I could get free help with legal problems. I showed the woman at the desk my papers, my hands shaking. She looked at them carefully, then looked at me. "Legally, this is very serious," she said. "You have choices. You can say these accounts are fake, report it as fraud, or even press charges if you need to. You don't have to decide today, but you need to protect yourself." "Press charges," I repeated, my voice small. "Against my own mother." "Against the person who stole your identity," she calmly corrected. "Being family doesn't mean you can break the law." I left shaking, but something inside me had changed. For years, my mom had used the word family like a shield. She thought it meant no one could touch her. That night, I closed my old bank account and opened a new one at a different bank. I told my job to send my paychecks to the new bank. I called the power and other companies and told them to take my name off everything connected to her house. For the electricity, the woman on the phone said, "If your name is removed, the other person on the account will have to pay everything. If the bill isn't paid, the power will be shut off." "Please make a note of that," I said. "I won't be paying any more bills for that account." "Understood," she said. I hung up and stared at my phone for a long time. This wasn't me being a baby. This wasn't me being selfish or not thankful like she always said. This was me cutting the rope she had tied around my neck for years. Lily watched me from the door. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Scared," I said. "But for the first time, I also feel like I'm not the one who's going to get hurt." I knew the bills would need to be paid soon. The power, the rent, the credit cards. And this time, when everything went wrong, she wouldn't be able to blame me. She wanted me to pay my own bills. Fine. I decided she was finally going to pay hers. About a month after I left, my life started to feel like my own. I worked extra shifts, found a cheap room to rent so I wasn't always at Lily's house, and slowly started to get out from under the huge debt my mom had made in my name. I had told the credit companies that the accounts were fake, put warnings on my credit file, and kept every single piece of proof against her in a neat, scary folder. But there was one thing I hadn't done. I hadn't called her. I saw her missed calls. I read her text messages without answering. "Where are you? You can't ignore me forever. So now you think you're too good for your own mother." Each message added another brick to the wall between us. Then one evening, as I was folding my work clothes on my bed after a shift, my phone rang again. This time it was a call. Her name flashed on the screen. I almost didn't answer. Then I remembered the call about the power bill I'd made weeks ago, and because I was curious, I answered. "Sarah," she yelled right away. "What did you do? Why is the power off? The whole apartment is dark, my food is going bad, I can't charge my phone, I can't even see anything." I could almost see her walking around the living room, acting like this just happened for no reason, like bills were just a random punishment from the sky. I took a breath and kept my voice calm. "Did you pay the electric bill?" "Don't start with me," she snapped. "You always took care of it." "They said the person on the account took herself off and there's a bill that wasn't paid." "Why would you do that to me? Are you trying to ruin my life?" For a second, the old feeling of guilt came back. The part of me that wanted to rush over there with my card, pay again, fix everything, and say sorry for even daring to leave. Then I thought of the envelopes, the fake accounts, my ruined credit score, her yelling at me with those overdue notices in my face, telling me to pay your own bills. "I didn't do anything to you," I said slowly. "I just stopped paying for you." Silence. "What is that supposed to mean?" she demanded. "It means the electricity account is now only in your name," I explained. "I took myself off it. If you don't pay it, they cut it off. That's how it works. I'm not your cosigner, I'm not your helper, and I'm not your backup plan anymore." "You ungrateful child," she hissed. "After everything I've done for you, you're just going to leave me in the dark." You didn't do things for me, I corrected, my voice shaking but steady. You hurt me, you stole my money, you opened credit cards in my name, you ruined my credit, you made me responsible for your life and then blamed me every time it wasn't good enough. That's not true, I'm your mother, she screamed, as if that word could erase everything she did. I have copies of everything, I replied quietly. The accounts, the signatures, the statements, I've already started to say they're fake. I talked to legal help. This isn't just family problems anymore. She became completely silent. Sarah, she finally whispered, her voice suddenly small. You wouldn't turn on me like that. You wouldn't tell strangers our business. Our business, I repeated. You made it my business when you put everything in my name. Breathing hard, she tried one last trick. If you tell anyone, I'll make sure the whole family hears how you left me. They'll all know how selfish you are. I almost laughed. Good, I said, because I'm done being your secret to hide your bad behavior. If you want to talk to them, we'll all talk, with proof. The phone line made a crackling sound with her surprised silence. For the first time in my life, I wasn't begging her to calm down. I wasn't saying sorry just to stop the fight. I was calm, and she was the one freaking out. Get used to it, I added quietly. The power going off, that's just the first bill that needs to be paid. I ended the call before she could answer. My heart was racing, my hands shaking. It felt like jumping off a tall cliff and realizing in the air that you might actually land safely. My getting back at her wasn't about hurting her a lot. It was about not hurting myself to keep her warm. But I knew her. She wouldn't just give up. And I was right. Because the next time she called, she didn't just call to yell. She called to scare me. The texts came first. You're ruining me. I raised you alone, and this is how you pay me back. If you don't fix this, I'll make sure everyone knows what you did. I ignored them until one message made my stomach hurt. I told your aunt you stole from me. There it was, a trick she always used. If she couldn't control me, she would tell lies about me. Not this time. My aunt called the next day, very angry. Sarah, how could you take money from your own mother and then leave her? She's sitting there in the dark because of you, I let her yell. Then I said calmly, have you seen any of the bills, any of the accounts, any proof? Well, no, but I'll bring everything, I cut in. All of it. I'll come over tonight, invite anyone you want, Mom included. There was a pause. Fine. That evening, I walked into my aunt's house with my folder under my arm. My mom was already there, sitting on the couch, looking small and weak, wrapped in a sweater like she was the victim. She didn't look at me. My aunt stood up. Sarah, this has gone too far. Your mother is too ashamed to even say how bad it is. You owe her. I opened the folder and calmly put a stack of papers on the coffee table. I owe her the truth, I said. Power bills in my name, credit card statements, the loan application with my information, and what was clearly my mother's handwriting pretending to be mine. My credit report, page after page. Read the names on the accounts, I said quietly. My aunt picked up a paper, frowning. This is in your name. Every single one, I said, opened, used, and ignored. Not by me. I was in class. I was at work. I didn't even know these existed until I moved out. My mom jumped to her feet. You ungrateful snake, she hissed, digging through my private papers trying to make me look bad. You did that yourself, I said, stopping her. My voice was shaking, but I didn't stop. You told me to pay my own bills while secretly putting yours in my name. That's not being a parent. That's using someone. My aunt's face became pale as she looked through more pages. Cynthia, is this true? My mom's fake act broke. We're family, she snapped. Kids help their parents, you wouldn't understand. You had a husband who stayed. So you decided your daughter's future was your emergency money. My aunt shot back, her voice shaking with anger now, but not at me. Mom glared at me, her voice quiet and mean. You went as strangers' lawyers, you think they care about you. When they're done, they'll leave, but I'm your blood. And blood doesn't give you the right to hurt me like that, I replied. I reached into the folder one more time and pulled out the last paper, a printed email conversation. These are my complaints to the credit companies, I said, and this is the fraud report I filed. I listed the accounts opened without my permission and the person who opened them. My Aunt Reed, her eyes getting wide. You named her. I had to, I said quietly. If I didn't, I'd be responsible for debts I didn't create. I'd carry this for the next 10, 20 years. All while she keeps yelling at me to grow up while she refuses to grow up herself. Mom rushed towards the papers, but my aunt stepped between us. Enough, she said sharply. You lied to us, Cynthia. You told us she left you, that she stole from you. She did, my mom insisted. She stole my chance at a better life. No, I interrupted. Dad leaving did that. Your choices after that are your fault. The doorbell rang. My aunt looked confused. Who else is coming? I asked the landlord to stop by, I said, my heart beating fast. He's been trying to reach me about the lease. Landlord walked in. He was a bit uncomfortable but firm. Good evening. I won't stay long, I just needed to confirm. Sarah, you're officially removed from the lease starting next month. I've made the change. From now on, the apartment will only be under Cynthia's name, but he looked at my mom. If the money that is owed isn't paid by the end of the notice time, we'll have to start the eviction process. My mom's face lost all its color. Eviction? You've received many notices, he said kindly. I'm sorry, but we can't keep a renter who doesn't pay and whose co-signer has legally left. Mom turned to me, fear and anger in her eyes. You did this. You're throwing me out of my own home. I swallowed hard. No, I just stopped letting you use my name to protect you. Whatever happens next, that's between you and the bills you told me to stop paying. The room felt full of strong feelings. You're going to be sorry for this, she whispered. Do you hear me, Sarah? One day you'll need me, and I'll remember this. I thought of my ruined credit, my years of stress, the nights I cried over red numbers while she slept on the couch with the TV on. I already regret not doing it sooner, I answered. And for the first time, when she ran out of the room, I didn't follow. But the results of that night came faster and hit harder than even I thought. The days that followed felt strange. My aunt stopped defending my mom. Instead, she started calling me, asking how to fix things, how to help. News spread through the family, but this time not because my mom told her side of the story first. They saw the papers. They heard the landlord. They realized I hadn't left her. I had gotten away. My mom, on the other hand, got even worse. She sent me many messages, going back and forth between feeling sorry for herself and being very angry. How could you make me feel so bad? Everyone thinks I'm a monster because of you. I did what I had to do to keep us alive. If you don't fix this, I'm done with you. Then, when I didn't answer, you were always a mistake anyway. I blocked her number. It felt mean, but it was necessary. 20:53. At work, I started working more hours. I talked to a helper at school who made me understand that what I had gone through wasn't tough love or just a single mom trying her best. It was abuse, money abuse, feeling abuse, mind abuse. I keep feeling bad, I told her in one meeting, like I'm the bad guy in my own story. That's because your role was switched for years, she said gently. You were the parent. Now that you're not doing that role, she's punishing you for it. That doesn't make you the bad guy. It makes you someone who finally stopped letting her get away with it. Meanwhile, the legal and money parts started to change. Some of the fake accounts were frozen. Police started looking into it. My credit stopped getting worse. It wasn't fixed yet, but there was a way forward. A few weeks later, my aunt called. They put a notice on her door, she said quietly. Eviction, she has 30 days. I closed my eyes. I had imagined this moment, dreamed about it when she screamed that I owed her everything, but hearing it out loud hurt. She's telling everyone you planned this to ruin her, my aunt continued. But honestly, most of us know she did this to herself. Some still feel sorry for her, others are just tired. Are you? I asked. I'm tired of watching her hurt you again and again, my aunt replied. I'm proud of you, Sarah, even if it's messy. I hung up and sat in my small rented room, staring at the wall. This wasn't like a movie revenge scene with loud music and slow fires. It was quieter, more complicated. My chest hurt, but under the hurt was something else. Relief. A week before the eviction day, someone knocked on my door. I opened it to find my mom standing there. She looked smaller. The anger in her eyes was dull from being tired. There were dark circles under her eyes, and her hair was tied back in a messy, defeated bun. You blocked my number, she said. So I had to come in person. My heart beat faster, but I didn't invite her in. I stood in the doorway, one hand on the frame, making a clear boundary she had never been forced to respect before. What do you want? I asked. She laughed sadly. What do I want? I want my life back, Sarah. I want my daughter back. I want electricity and a roof and some respect. But it seems you decided to take all that with you. You had all of that before you decided to use me like a credit card, I replied. She flinched. I made mistakes. I panicked. I didn't know how to live after your father left. Every month was another problem I had to fix. I grabbed whatever I could to keep us going. You grabbed me, I said. You grabbed my future. I did it for us, she snapped, her voice getting louder. I thought you'd understand when you were older. I thought you'd be thankful someday. Thankful, I repeated, shocked. For being in debt before I even started my life, for having to fix my credit because you didn't want to face your own problems, for being yelled at every time I couldn't fix a mess I didn't make. Her jaw tightened. Fine, hate me. Let me be the bad guy, but know this. When they put my stuff on the street and everyone gossips, they'll remember your name too. They'll say, that's the daughter who let it happen. I took a breath, my hands shaking. I didn't let it happen, I said. I stopped letting you happen to me. She stared at me for a long time, waiting for me to break, to say sorry, to rush in with a solution. I didn't. I'm not coming to fix this, I added. I'm not paying your rent. I'm not turning the lights back on. If you want help, you can go to the same legal place I went to. You can talk to a helper. You can get a job that isn't just taking from people who love you, but I will not be your support anymore. Tears filled her eyes, flowing down her face. For a second, I saw the mother she used to be, the one who held me when I was sick and braided my hair before school. Then she turned away. You'll regret this, she whispered and walked down the hall. I watched her leave and realized something. She'd been saying that my whole life. This time, I didn't believe her. But our story wasn't over yet, because the day they actually came to empty the apartment, she called me one last time, and this time I picked up. The eviction day was a dark, gloomy morning. I knew the date, but I hadn't planned on going anywhere near that building. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something inside me told me to answer. Hello, Sarah. It was my mom's voice, but weaker, like she had no fight left. It's me. I'm using the neighbor's phone. They're here. I imagined the scene without needing to see it. Movers, a police officer, maybe the landlord, boxes on the sidewalk. Neighbors peeking out through windows, pretending not to stare. I stayed silent. They're putting my things on the street, she continued. Our couch, your old dresser, the kitchen table, everything. They were her things now, not ours. I just thought, she said, a sad laugh in her voice, you might want to see what happened because of your big, smart girl decisions. I closed my eyes. You mean the result of your own decisions? Silence stretched between us. Are you happy now? She finally asked. You got your revenge, the power's off, the bills are in my name, I'm losing the apartment, you win. I thought about that for a long time. This was never about winning, I said. It was about surviving. I didn't burn your life down, Mom. I just stopped holding up the parts you refused to touch. You could have helped, she whispered. You could have fixed it. I did help, I replied. For years, with money, with time, with my feelings. You never called that help. You called it what I owed you. The moment I asked for things to be fair, you called me selfish. The moment I left, you called me ungrateful. The moment I protected myself, you called it revenge. Isn't it? She pushed. Admit it. You liked hearing the fear in my voice when the power went out. I swallowed. Yeah, I said honestly. Part of me did. Part of me needed you to feel even a little bit of the fear I felt every time you threw another bill on the table and told me to fix it. But the difference is when the lights went out for you, you still had choices. You're an adult. You can work. You can get help. When the lights went out for me, I was a kid and you were the one turning off the switch. She didn't answer. Where will you go? I asked quietly. I don't know, she mumbled. Your aunt offered to let me stay for a while, but she made it clear she's not paying my debts. Everyone suddenly got brave after your little show. She said the word show like it was poison. They look at me differently now. That's not my fault either, I said. That's what truth does. I heard quiet voices in the background, someone saying, Ma'am, we need you to sign this. Her breathing was shaky. Why are you really calling me? I asked. There was a long pause. Because I wanted to ask. Her voice broke. Is there any part of you that still loves me? That question hit me hard, through all the walls I had built. I leaned against the wall, tears starting in my eyes. I thought about bedtime stories, scraped knees, and birthday cakes. I thought about slammed doors, yelling fights, and the first time she put a bill in my hands and called it our responsibility. I do love you, I said, my voice very quiet. That's what makes all of this so painful. If I didn't love you, walking away would have been easy. Then why? She cried. Did you let it get this far? Because loving you doesn't mean letting you ruin me, I replied. And it doesn't mean forgetting what you did. This, I made a motion with my hand even though she couldn't see me. This is what your choices cost, not my boundaries. Your choices, she sniffled, getting herself together. So that's it. You're just done with me. No, I said. I'm done being your free helper, your money, your scapegoat, your shield. If you ever decide to get real help, to go to therapy, to actually work on yourself, to pay back even a small part of what you took, I'll listen. But until then, the only thing I'm giving you is space. Silence came again, heavier than before. I told you once, she said quietly, that you'd regret this someday. Maybe, I answered. But I already regret the years I lost trying to save you from problems you chose for yourself. I'm not losing anymore. In the background, I heard the landlord's voice. Ma'am, we really need to finish up. I have to go, she whispered. Goodbye, Mom, I said. The word felt strange and known at the same time. I hope one day you pay your bills and your debts to the people who loved you. She didn't answer, but I heard her breathing catch. Then the line went dead. I stood alone in my tiny room, phone still in my hand, feeling both empty and strangely light. Somewhere across town, the apartment I grew up in was being emptied. The power was off. The door would soon be locked by strangers. She once yelled at me, "If you're so smart, then pay your own bills." In the end, that's exactly what I did. I paid my own. And for the first time in her life, she was forced to pay hers.